My name is Ingrid Honkala, and as you can see today, my table is full of cups. All of this is here just because I want to share with you an analogy that I learned a few years ago and that helped me with the realization of who I am and to understand the important concept of oneness. All this started with actually a book and a spiritual teacher. It is a book called I Am That, and the spiritual teacher is Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, and this book is the compilation of some of his teachings, some of his talks. So what happened is that in a matter of only a couple of days, I learned from 3 completely different sources about this book and about this teacher, and I just realized, okay, I guess I'm being guided to read this book. So I bought the book, and when I started to read it, I completely resonated with his teachings. Then a couple of days after I started to read this book, I had to go on a trip. And when I was sitting on an airplane, I read a couple of passages from his book, and I was getting tired, so I decided to do my meditation. Because wherever I am, it no matter if I'm on an airplane, on a car, or wherever I am in the world, I'm always having that time to just be with myself, to close my eyes and to have that space of quiet, peace, and serenity with myself. So while I closed my eyes and I started to do my meditation, I immediately thought about something that was written on his book. He said on his book, to know that I am, it is important to start from being aware of that I am not. And I started to think about that. And I thought, I already know that I am something that is beyond my mind, my body, my possessions, my name, my personality, my career. So, if I am something that goes beyond all these aspects of my external reality, so what is that I truly am? And while I was contemplating all these ideas in my mind, suddenly I got an answer. I hear clearly in my head my guides saying to me, perceive yourself as an empty cup. Is it truly empty when it is empty? And I started to see how the cup was emptying out. And I started to look at the cup being completely empty from this liquid. And as I was looking at the cup, I had the realization, of course, it is not empty. It is filled up of a space. The same eternal, infinite, and unchangeable space that permeates everything and everywhere. Throughout this analogy, I was also able to understand that although each one of us can look different in the outside, which is the representation of each one of these cups. So each one of us in the outside is looking completely different. But in the inside, all of us are sharing the exact same space, the exact same essence. And that is when that concept of oneness became so clear to me. But what happened is that throughout our lives, we start our cup to say, this is me, start getting filled up with all kind of substances of different colors, different densities, to the point that we reach a state in which our cup gets completely filled up. And when that happens, we start feeling separated from our essence. It's when we start losing the depthness of who we are and we become shallow. And the more shallow we become, and the more separated we become from our essence, then is when we start feeling that we are separated from that essence, that we are separated from God. And is when our idea of separation, the idea of dualism, begins. We see ourselves as different from the others. We see ourselves as separated from everyone else because we cannot sense our depthness anymore. We're being kept in the shallow, only looking at the surface aspect of our reality. Then there is a point that the person becomes so shallow that it becomes lost, it becomes sick, it becomes really unhappy, it becomes depressed. No matter how much fortune, how much success, or how much materialistic things that person acquire, it is going to feel uneasy. Is going to feel that is lacking something. Is going to feel that there's something missing. Because it has become separated from its essence. And what is this essence? Love, kindness, compassion, happiness, joy. The essence of who we are. We are an extension of God. And when we lose that connection, now we see ourselves as different, as disconnected, as alone. But the important thing to learn is no matter how full our cup is, we always have the chance to empty this cup. And that's when all the different practices and all the different teachings and all the different spiritual teachers are guiding us to do. How I empty this cup, how I go back to the depthness of who I am, how I go back to self with capital S. And sometimes that job, sometimes that work is not easy. It requires time. It is a process. Because once the cup have become so full of anything else, you cannot pour something, you cannot pour coffee in this cup that is full of tea. First, you have to start clearing this cup. How we clear this cup? By doing all the different practices that we have been hearing from different teachers, like we can start by reprogramming our mind, changing all those negative thoughts, transcending all those negative thinkings and patterns, and bringing new things into our life. If we're thinking, we're people, a person that are all the time thinking negative thoughts, what can I do to bring positive thinking into our mind? I always say it can be simple. If I'm just realize that I'm having a negative thought, it's about becoming aware, becoming an observer of yourself. Be aware of your thinking. If I'm having a negative thought in my mind, replace it by a positive one. Don't try to push the negative one away, because you are going to reinforce it. I talk a little bit about this in my last newsletter. It's like, just bring a positive thought into your mind, like something really simple, like, a cup of coffee I drank this morning was amazing. That shower I took was incredible. That bath, wow, what a relaxing thing. So you start replacing those negative thoughts, but things that make you feel grateful, that makes you feel good, that makes you feel great. And little by little, you transform those patterns of negative thinking until you realize that you're thinking more positive. Another way people talk a lot about affirmations is just the idea of bringing just all those positive thoughts and way of thinking into your mind. But this is only the first step. This is only the first step, because no matter how clear, say that, now my mind is full of positive thinking. Yeah, I have my mind clear, so now it's more like translucid, clean. It's not like this cup that is all full of busy negative thinking, just to give an example. But it's still full. So I remember one time I was actually sitting in the couch, and I was listening to a lullaby that my son was listening to the lullabies. And when I pay attention to this lullaby, I realized how repetitive it was. And at that moment, I had the realization of, like, of course, these lullabies are repetitive, because it's the way in which we learn, in which children learn, in which we humans learn, by repetition. So if we learn by repetition, the only way to change our patterns or to relearn something is by repetition as well. So once we start going into our practice of meditation, of emptying the mind, of clearing our mind, we cannot expect that a change is going to happen in one day, in 1 week. It is all a process. It takes time. It takes time to change all and transform all our patterns and start creating a new way of life, a new way of thinking. Then it is very, very, very important that we work in trying to empty the cup, because otherwise, if your cup is full, like I said before, there's nothing else you can bring into your life. There was a really incredible teaching. I to just give it to you exactly as it is. I learned about Zen master called Nanin. He was a Japanese master, and one time a visitor came to talk to him, and this visitor was a professor, and he wanted to learn about Zen. And Nanin started, so the guy sat there, and Nanin grabbed a jar and started to fill his cup with tea. And as he was filling his cup with tea, the cup started to just get full and overflow, and it kept like overflowing, and there was now liquid all over the place. And the professor just couldn't refrain himself anymore until he asked him, "It is overflow, no more will go in." And Nanin, the Zen master, answered, "Like this cup, you are full of your own opinions and speculations. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup?" So that is an amazing teaching, because like these masters say, how can you bring something new when you're completely attached to the old? How can you bring anything new to your life when you're completely attached to the past? When your mind is so full and so filled with clutter that there's not a space for nothing new to come. The only way for us to be able to receive the new, like you have a new invite into your house, the only way that person can walk into your house is if you open the door. The only way the light can come through my window is if I open the curtains. There's no other way. I need to become clear. I need to become open. I need to empty the cup. Another beautiful thing that this analogy gave me, or helped me with, was also to realize the importance of our uniqueness. Like in this case, all these cups are so unique. They're all so different. It's just like us. We all came to this world looking different in the outside, because that uniqueness is the engine that actually helps the universe to evolve. Through our uniqueness, we are expanding. We are the manifestation of the infinite possibilities in our universe. So all of us have our unique role and our unique purpose. So why we have to work and try to look like someone else when each one of us has its own and incredible, unique purpose? But at the same time, all of us need to work together to accomplish that universal purpose that all of us came to here to teach to each other. So for example, I completely love this analogy of the fingers and the hand. Although they are different fingers, absolutely unique, they're all attached to the same hand. It is the uniqueness that encompasses unity. If I cut this finger off, this finger by itself cannot do anything. So it is not about competing and destroying each other. It is about working together. It's about helping each other. It's about community. It's about gathering all our uniqueness and all the different things that all of us know how to do well and do the work together. That is unity. So now we know, in essence, we are the same. We are one. And even in our exterior, in our work as humans, we are here to accomplish that unity, but by working together. I hope that through this analogy, you understand a little better that you are, that we are, and that we're all here looking different in the outside, but being exactly the same in our essence. Let's work to deepen. Let's work to find the depthness of ourselves, to empty this cup and find who we truly are in essence, who we truly are in the depthness of ourselves. The more we reconnect with our essence, which is not other than universal unconditional love, the more we can awaken on the true nature of who we truly are, that is that infinite love. And on that, and on the way, on that path of awakening, we can help others to find their true nature as well. I absolutely love this picture where the Buddha is sitting with a candle, and that candle is enough to illuminate hundreds and thousands of candles more, because the light of one awakened being is so powerful that it can help awaken thousands more. So imagine the work of each one of us. What can we do for each other? We are here not to compete. We are here to cooperate, to work together, to love each other, to grow together, to expand and to awaken in the knowing that we are essence, that we are an extension of God, that we are made of pure love, infinite greatness, and that we can make our planet the most amazing experience and place to live. This doesn't have to be hard. This can be an amazing journey, an amazing adventure, if we decide to experience it that way. If we decide to clear and empty our cup. See you next time. I love you and take care. Bye.